the park ranger said that this is a good hike to do when it's hot out, because there's more shade. There's more trees and stuff like that too on this part of the hike. So we left from Loop A, Squall Flat Campground, and started down the trail. Like I said, it's supposed to be like about a 3-mile hike, so not too bad. So I'm just over a mile in, about 2 miles to go, maybe just a little less to the campsite. I think the biggest thing is it's hot. Like, it's gotta be 100 degrees. Yesterday was 104, but it's not quite midday yet. So I'm trying to get to camp before it gets too hot. And down into the canyon where there's just some more shade. Right here, there is just this really, really loose sand. Okay, so I've made it to Squaw Canyon Campsite 1. Means I've got about another mile to go before I reach my campsite 2. So I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water and keep going. So I stopped here, just past the Squaw Camp 1. Just take a quick rest and make sure I drink water. And then I feel like there's a blister coming up on my toe, so make sure you don't let blisters get out of hand. As soon as you start to feel it, you need to fix it up. I have a small one starting right there, but if I don't take care of it now, it'll get big. Okay, so I've made it to the fork, and I'm gonna head up that way right there, and that will take me to my campsite. It shouldn't be much farther at all. Looks like that's the trail, and this is the campsite back here. All right. Okay, so I was thinking about setting up my camp. The thing is west is that way, so the sun's gonna set over that way. This area has some shade right now, but in a little while, it's gonna just be filled with the sun. So there's a spot over there that has shade. So I'm just gonna wait to set up my tent and actually just throw out my sleeping pad and just chill out on it for a little while until the sun kind of starts going where it's gonna go. And then I'll put up my tent later. So I spent a good part of the afternoon just hanging out here at camp. It was really hot out, so just try to stay in the shade. I set up a little spot right over here just to hang out under the shade. But I just finished putting up my tent over here. This campsite's big, it could hold quite a few people. So I put my tent up over there in the shade. See how long it stays in the shade. And I'm going to cook some food and have dinner. Trip in little over 3 miles, wasn't bad. Tomorrow the plan is to take Lost Creek Canyon out. It's about 5.5 miles back to the car. So should be a good night. We had a little tiny bit of rain earlier, but it looks like it's cleared up pretty well now, so I think we'll have a good night. So I climbed up the rocks on the back side of my campsite, and you get these really great views from up here. Hopefully in a few minutes there's going to be a really good sunset going on over here. It took me maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops to get up here. Definitely worth the little trip up here. You can actually see the trail that you came in on and like what way you came from. And then the trail that I'm going to go on tomorrow hooks around that way, and you can kind of see that canyon as it goes around. So it's a pretty cool glimpse from up here.
So it's like 6 a.m. It's nice and cool right now. Ooh. There was a bumblebee. Nice and cool right now. So it is time to pack up and hit the trail. See if we can get through the Lost Creek Canyon Trail before it gets too hot.
Alright, I've got my camp all packed up. Everything's in my bag. I got my map. So I'm going to take off back over this way and follow the trail back out to the Lost Creek Canyon Trail and head out that way. It should be about 5.5 miles is the total trip length back to the car. So let's go. Okay, so we've made it up to the top of this ridge. So now we gotta go down the other side. You gotta go kind of down that way, and then you go down here, and then we'll follow that canyon through to the end, and then there's a dead end, and you can either go right and go out to a peekaboo point, or you can go left and head back toward the parking area. So today we're gonna head back toward the parking area. So far, the trail's been good on this side. It's not as open as Squaw. The canyon walls are a little steeper, so The good thing is this morning it's still giving me quite a bit of shade. I'd say on the other side the path was more like the dirt paths, kind of like this one. It's intermittent so far. A lot of it though is like just climbing on rocks, and there's a few places where you have to really kind of scramble down some rocks, or there's some steeper cliffs that you have to kind of walk close to. But really, I mean, overall, it's a great trail. So I've made it to the Lost Canyon 3 campsite, so I wanted to give you a look at that. I think it's always good to know what the campsite's like, so you can kind of decide which one maybe you want to do. Not that my campsite was bad, but I actually would say this campsite's better. You have bigger trees, gives you way more shade. Mine had very little shade, so this would be a good option for that. But it's a nice campsite. It's really pretty amazing how the landscape has changed down here. It's more like walking through tall grass, and there's big trees. I mean, big trees. Some that are bigger than these. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it almost is more like walking through a forest down in here than it is through a desert canyon. Pretty cool. I'm about a mile, maybe mile and a half in. Probably closer to a mile and a half. So we'll see. Actually, you can see right here, when it floods, this is where all the water runs through. So this is the spot where all these trees grow, because this is where all the water comes to. I really didn't think there'd be any water out here at all. It's July. It's been really hot, and I think the monsoon season is now, but I don't think they've been getting a lot of rain. But you can see there is a big pool of water here. Now, I've seen smaller ones. Now that water looks pretty yucky right on top. But below, I mean, it's still pretty clear. I can see the bottom, and that's probably a good 1 to 2 feet deep. So, in a worst case scenario, you could always filter the water and then boil it, if you ran out of water. I packed enough water that I don't have to do that, thankfully. All right, guys, we're here at Lost Canyon campsite number 2. Let's check it out. Okay, so I made it to campsite number 2. This is it. It's not bad. You basically have a flat area sort of right there. Probably better campsites. So I've made it to the crossroads. So if you go this way, you can go out to Peekaboo. If you go that way, you're going back to the parking lot at the campgrounds. So I'm headed this way. So I climbed up on the ridge, so I gotta go down the other side. But look at this view. Absolutely incredible. It's beautiful from up here. Totally worth a hike up here. Just this one spot. And if you look back, then that's the area we came from. But just absolutely gorgeous up here. This has been such a really good hike. I can see the trail just over there going out that way. So then that'll take us back to the parking lot. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Now, isn't that a way to finish the trip? It's raining. One rain cloud in the whole sky. And I get it. Definitely a good way to cool off. Where's my cairns? Over there.